I hope you're all good. It's been long and I hope you're all good. My name is Abiola Precious Ngige, and today I have an amazing topic about my story, and I hope you all get inspired and get to know more about me. Today I have my guest. She's my good friend and she's going to interview me. So without much further ado, please welcome to our channel.
Hey guys, my name is Sisi. I'm glad to be here and I hope you'll have a nice time as I get and you get to know Viola. Welcome. So, who is Viola?
Wow. Viola, she's joyful. And Viola, she has a story. I believe she's a strong woman. Her smiles represent so many things about her, and I believe she's a superwoman.
And before we go ahead, we'd like to know where you were born.
Oh.
Where were you born? And if you're comfortable, you can tell us which year. Maybe.
Okay. Actually, my real names are Jacqueline Nyambura Ngige.
Wow.
My Viola is the stage name, and I was born and raised in Nairobi, and I grew up in Nairobi, and I was born at Pumwani many years back. I have siblings, and I happen to be the firstborn, but we are twins.
And when you were growing up, how was life? Were you born in a rich background, or how was it?
I can say I came from a humble background, of which, like any other family, not rich family, but just a humble family background. And I was born and raised by my mom and dad, though after some years they got to separate. And my dad and mom separated when I was 10 years. And
how was it for you when they separated? Did you go with your mom, or were you left with your dad?
Okay, initially we went with my mom because at that time we were young, and when you're young, it's only that gap you cannot go with your dad, so we had to go with our mom, and life was not easy adjusting, because now you see, we were from a whole set-up family, and then now here we are. We are forced to life, as in now we have to being raised by a single mom or a single parent. Yes.
So when your mom separated with your dad, did you leave school, or how was it?
Well, we went on with school, because luckily where I was schooling and where we were staying, it was not far from home. And during those old times, I guess the school was not that expensive.
So it was fair. Your mom could afford.
Yeah, my mom
maybe food. Was there food on a maybe daily meal, or how was it?
Yeah, I can say we never lacked, but sometimes we would lack, but not that much. But I thank God we had that meal.
That's nice. And Kat, so vile mamako aliachana na babako, ilikuwaje hiyo kuwalea? Kuna mahali that you lacked, maybe a daily meal or something?
Yes, there was a time we used to laugh because, as I had told you before, when my mom separated, we were already 5, and me and my elder sister, we were twins. So there was 4 of us behind,
Yeah.
and us being the firstborn, we had to step in and help our mom, like during holidays and during easy holidays ndogo za kama weekend. Yeah, we will go out and
Look for money.
sort of looking for money, because my mom by then used to do kibanda, and at times she would go to market, inaitwa
Soko.
soko hii kubwa ya Mudhurwa. Yeah, Mudhurwa back then. And so in the morning she used to go there, anauza, and so zile anabaki nazo anazileta home. So maybe kulikuwa kunaenda na season, maybe season ya maembe, season ya machungwa, hivyo. So during the weekends, sisi hatukuwa na hiyo privilege ya kama watoto wengine kwenda kucheza. So we used to go and hawk at that age. Yeah, because that was the only way to get means for us to survive. Because you see, now wakati my mom was separate, tukakuja from my grandmother. My grandmother was so good and she gave her a house. So at least shelter, we didn't have problems. We didn't lack, but now food and those basic needs. Yeah, those basic needs we had to
look for them. And was there a time maybe that ulikosa kwenda shule, maybe you were out looking for maybe who provide for your other siblings, or how was it?
No, I never lacked. I never skipped school during my primary years. I never skipped school because, as I have told you, my school was just near our home, so it was just a kilometers away. So we could go for in the morning, go for lunchtime, and then also go and come back in the evening. So the only challenge was during the holidays we never get to enjoy like any other kids. We had to do some hawking so that we can help our mom find some source of income. Yeah.
And at that time, where was your dad? Was he providing or anything? Ama alienda too silent?
Okay, for me, what I would say, he was there, and there was a time we could meet, but my mom was so tight. Yule mzazi, unajua wale wazazi wa kitambo wakiachana, yeah, ikiisha imeisha. So for her, wanataka any connection between us and our dad. But me, being the kichwa ngumu in me, I wanted so much to see my dad. So I would find time,
you go and
I would sneak. Hata kama nitarudi nitandikwe, but nilikuwa na prefer afadhali nitandikwe, but at least ni more, because you cannot cut at once. No, you cannot cut your connection at once. And knowing that he's still there and he's willing, and me being the favorite, I was the favorite, and I'm still the favorite one.
Wow, that's nice.
So it was hard for me just to cut it off at once. So I would skip, and again my mom place and my dad place still was not far. So I could find time.
And maybe you happen to know maybe the reason of the separation, or you don't know? Amani, these basic fights are marriage.
I think the basic fight to the marriage is a constant to the, my mom had, yani she could not take it.
I understand. So this was primary school.
Yeah.
So high school, how was it?
Okay, high school, it was a bit challenging because as I had told you, I have a twin sister.
Yes.
And Okay, my sister happened to repeat, and I happened to
You advanced
go.
to the
Yeah,
next
I
class.
got to advance,
Uh-huh.
but there was a challenge for me. Also to join Form 1, I had to delay because of
the struggles.
school fees and all that. But luckily, I got
You
someone
cleared.
to
pay
cater
for
for
your-
my fees. And
Nice.
yeah, I cleared.
Was it a relative or how was it? Who is this? Someone that helped you to clear this fees?
Okay, sometimes my family, my mom, the members of my mom family would chip in, and also those bursaries.
Oh,
school.
that's nice.
Yeah.
So you cleared your high school.
Yeah, I later cleared my high school. Yeah.
And joined university or what?
No, I never happened to join university because, as I had told you before, even joining high school was a problem. And now by this time, my dad had cut off the connection, the ties. Now there was no support from. Also before, my dad would not support like before, so there was no connection. The only connection was my mom, and since there were other behind me, my other siblings were behind me, it was difficult. So
and when you cleared high school, how old were you?
I cleared. I was 18. But
18?
yeah, I was 18, and in between,
After high school.
I happened to become a mother.
Oh, so you got pregnant when you were a teenage?
Yeah, I got pregnant when I was at my teenage.
Oh, so how was it being a teenage mom? And how old is your kid right now?
Wow.
Tell us. We'd like to know. How was it? Like, I know in these African families, when you get pregnant when you're teenage, it is a task to tell the parents. So how was it?
Okay, first, where do I start? When I got
pregnant, when you get pregnant, how did you
pregnant? First, I didn't know that I was pregnant.
Cut.
I went before because
marriage was. So vile mama, you have told me you had a teenage pregnancy, right?
Yes.
In African families,
Yes.
when you're pregnant,
Yeah.
of course you need shida, like going and telling your mom, I'm pregnant. So how was it for you?
Wow, it was challenging because
Right.
I've never spoke about it,
Mhm.
and I don't know if I'll get the courage, but let me speak it for the first time.
And you're 18 years at this time.
Yeah. So at first, I didn't notice or I didn't realize I was pregnant until I reached about 5 months. Still, I didn't notice that I was pregnant because my stomach was not that protruding. And there was this lady, a friend of my mom. I can remember I was wearing a certain dress, and then she asked me, like, "Are you pregnant?" Because the way I look at you, it seems you're pregnant. And then I was like, "No," because even it was a shock to you. Yeah, it was a shock to me because I had done the sex. What is it called?
Before you had intercourse with a guy.
Yeah, first time. It was my first time, so I didn't expect, and we never used anything. So I didn't have those
idea or
not ideas like pregnancy changes. You see, those signs. Maybe like throwing up, having headache, smell, nausea.
You were
such signs I never had. So I thought like it's normal for me to not to have my period. So when what made me now realize that I was pregnant is because I went for a test.
Mm-hmm. You went with your mom.
No.
I want you to explain this moment. The friend of your mom telling you you were pregnant. Was your mom there? Ama, what happened at that time? How was it?
No, this woman, she was a friend to my mom,
Mhm.
and we were just two of us.
Oh,
Just a
uh-huh.
coincidence that I was happening to cross by. Yeah, then she
She
called me.
Mhm.
Yeah, she called me aside, and then she started speaking to me, and then she told me aside. But so I happened to tell one of my friend, and then she told me, "Can you go and buy a test kit and then do a test? And then from there you can confirm." So I went and bought a test kit, and I did the test, and
You
I
were pregnant.
confirmed it was
Positive.
So now it was positive. So now the hardest point was me to bring news
to your mom.
to my mom.
Tell us
And
about
my mom was that tough woman.
Strict.
No?
African
Hey,
woman.
wale,
And you're the
Never
first kid.
hawezi bebea kwangu. Nitakuua.
I understand.
What? So what happened? Now this time I had to run away.
From
First
home?
I had to run away from, yes, I could not tell my mom. So I had to run away, and I decided to trace my dad. Now I had to trace my dad from where he was living, and I traced him, and I also happened to tell the man in charge of the pregnancy.
And how did he respond?
It was not easy. It was not easy. So at first I had to run away, and I lost connection with my mom. And
So you went to your dad?
I went to my dad. I stayed with my dad for a short while, because now I started to see, now he'll also start noticing
The
the
changes?
changes, and I don't also want him to notice.
To know?
So what I did, I decided now to go and face the guy and tell him,
You're pregnant.
yeah.
And how did you tell us?
For him, he was okay, but now I was scared. What next?
The guy, how old was he? Was he earning? Was he in school? Because you were 18, so you were not earning at that time.
No, for him, he was a grown up. He was animal. Yeah, yeah.
So what happened? You stayed with him?
So now, because now I had already ran away from my mom, I also ran away from my dad. Nobody knew.
Nobody knew you were pregnant.
Nobody knew where I am. So I chose to run away, and so I had to go and stay with my baby daddy now at his home place. At his home, luckily for them, they were well off.
Wow.
Because they were given. They had this servant quarter, so I was staying with him there, and yeah, I stayed with him until my late, almost like 8 months. 7, 8 months.
So we can say that this one was just marriage. That's
Now-
where your marriage started.
Now that's where now I got married officially.
Oh, and what
Nilienda
happened?
nikaenda.
Oh, yes. And your mom, all this time
So,
when you were not
My mom all this time hajaijua kwenye niko. Hamna mtu anajua kwenye niko. Na hiyo time hakuko eti na masimu eti unapiga mzazi unamwambia kwenye huko. So we had to plan, and we had to plan sasa ile official sasa kwenda home. Sasa pia nimekuja kwa hawa na
you are not expected to be
yeah, for them, luckily for them, they did welcome me, and kulingana na pia vile waliniona at my age, walini understand, unaona. So walini take, mother-in-law took me very good.
Wow.
Yeah, she took me in very good. She was alikuwa mama mzuri sana, and alinicare about that process. Nilikuwa pregnant, and until I gave birth.
Wow, that's nice. And how long did it take for you to go back and see your mom and tell her that I got pregnant, I got a baby? Because at that time you had already.
I went before I gave birth to my daughter, because now I realize it is okay. I should make
You went
friends.
with the dad,
Yeah,
the father
so
to your kid.
yeah, this time I went with my baby dad before, and yeah.
Your mom, how, I want to know how the experience was. Like you were here, you were with a guy, you were pregnant. Like how was it? Was she annoyed? How did she express the news?
Now,
And your siblings too. Tell us.
first of all, she was not mad. She was happy because I was like the prodigal daughter.
Yeah.
I was like a prodigal daughter because you see, I had run away, and so now I have come back. So I found her. She's already changed. The anger, she doesn't have that anger. It was over, and she was also praying and waiting for that day that I will return and come back.
So
And
it was a warm welcome for.
yeah, it was a warm welcome for me.
Oh, that's nice. So what happened afterwards? You are in marriage now. You have a baby. So what next? Tell us.
Let me laugh because now this marriage.
And remember, you're
I'm
a
a
teenager.
So now I was very, very, very green. Thanks God I knew how to cook. But
Wow. And the husband, how
I knew how to cook, but sile chakula ya watu wengi. Chakula ya watu wengi, but ile chakula ya watu Kikuyu, you know. So now here.
Ama, what do they call them?
Yeah, that's mashakula. So now here I am. I don't know now how to become a mom.
Yeah.
Now,
to become a wife.
To
also.
become a wife also. Where do I start? And what to start?
What to do?
And what to do?
You are there.
It was a challenge for me.
I understand.
Yes.
Did your husband help you? How was it?
Okay, me
Being a mom, because being a first mom, I guess it's a task.
okay.
So how was it?
Me, the only person that did happen to help me so much was the mother-in-law, because she was next to me
All along.
all alone. Yes.
So I want you to explain to us how that marriage was. How is it?
Okay.
How did it go? You separated with the father of your kid.
Okay. As I had said before, when I got my first baby, everything was okay. Seems to be fine between me, my family, and my in-laws. Yeah, everything was okay. And the guy used to provide. And later, he started some behaviors, and
Funny
I could
behaviors.
notice some funny behaviors, and also I could see some funny changes in him. Like he started coming home drunk, and he could not even provide. There was some misunderstanding at home at times between me and my mother-in-law, because most of the time my mother-in-law was the one who was providing. And so she started feeling like I'm a burden to her. You see? And
now you have one kid.
now I have one kid. And my mother-in-law happened to have a house girl by then. So it reached a point that when after I gave birth and after I had finished weaning my daughter, now my first baby, I had to go back to work and for a job, and I started working.
What are these funny behaviors that your husband was portraying at that time?
Now, what he did most of the time, mostly he would come drunk, and at times he could not provide. So my mother-in-law was the one who was doing the pro. He would provide and do
And the
everything
job?
in the house.
Because when you came into the marriage, he was earning the job.
Yeah,
ended.
so he was self-employed, so he could work the way he wants. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
It happened just one day. It was a series of me going, coming.
At this time, you
Until-
still have the one kid, or did you continue having kids? How was it?
Yeah, I still had another. I did another one.
There are two now.
Now there are two,
Mm-hmm.
and he would change.
Mm-hmm.
At times he would change,
Mm-hmm.
and he would go on and off.
Mm-hmm.
At times he could change and become the best daddy,
Husband.
the best husband,
Mm-hmm.
and
Father.
father.
Mm-hmm.
Then later he would change.
Mm-hmm.
So it went on for a series of
Mm-hmm.
a period of time.
Was there
And-
maybe in that married life? Because I tend to know maybe stress could have been the cause of these changes. Was because you say he's a businessman, right? How was the business at that time? Was it good, or these changes? How did they come about?
No, the business was okay, but the problem with him was the company that he had. His company, about his
Oh, I understand.
yeah,
The friends.
the inner circle he had.
Oh.
Because now you see the inner circle. For him, he wants to enjoy that. He wants to
Life.
have that life.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want to leave his company,
Mm-hmm.
and so it forced him. Like sometimes he could not come to the house because you see now when they go out, someone who's drinking,
Mm-hmm.
he could sleep the whole night.
Mhm.
And not
How was it for you? Like, you're now married, you have kids, your husband is drinking, he's not coming home. How was it?
It was tough, and I tried my best because I had told you, but I saw my mom and my dad separating. So I didn't want that.
another-
I didn't want that series to repeat myself. So I tried so much, but it reached to a point now where the guy he could not provide now
At all.
at all. So
You had to
now,
go out.
no, I didn't just go out like once. Her mom used to step in, but later now the mother started to change. Now she could complain like,
You were being a burden.
yeah,
Together
becoming a
with your
burden
kids.
to her. And now she started complaining like for her, she gave birth to her, I think from my husband's side there were 8 of them, 8, 9 there. And akaanza kuteta akisema, I remember siku moja mzee wangu alikuja akiwa mlevi, and so the mother bought, alikuwa ameshachoka. Ndio alikuwa anaona when he was wakati alikuwa mbali, alikuwa amekomboa nyumba yake, he was responsible.
So
Kazi na nyumba analipa. Sasa amekuja hapa, amepewa nyumba, nao amekuwa mzembe, mamake yuko hapo na nyumba alipi. So kwa hivyo pesa yake anatake advantage sasa naye mama badala ya kuongelesha kijana wake, that anger he turned to
you.
You see? So nikaanza zile mistreatments
So,
za
when did
mother-in-law
it come about? Ukakuwa like mko in terms with the mother-in-law, right? And was it a time that mlikuwa maybe in an argument, you decided like, let me just leave?
For me, I never had an argument with my mother-in-law. You see, I was young, so I was scared of everything. But I was still growing up. So nilikuwa na try sana mali mimi sitakuwa na conflict between me and her. But so wakati jamaa alianza kukosa kuprovide, mother-in-law akaanza kuprovide. At times angeneta kwa nyumba, now the mother-in-law, and go back to Shago. By then Shago was in Kiambu, and I would be left alone in a house like this. By then walikuwa na nyumba kubwa, and sasa tuko in another extension. So in the meantime, Jumi naye nilikuwa nimegrow ile life ya hustler. Kutoka kwa kwetu, it wasn't hard for me. So even when the guy would not provide, I had ideas on how to make money. So nikaanza kugelea life circle ya kwetu. Nikaangalia niko na hii estate. Sisi wenda kununua mandazi huko mbali. luckily me nime grow up na all your stages za
Yeah,
life
hustle.
ya hustle. So nikamwana mimi nikaanza kupika hapa mandazi niuziangia watu at least nipate income. Yeah.
Sasa ni hapo nje
hapo tu nje. At least nipate income ya kusaidia watoto wangu. So now juu jamaa anakuja is in out. So nikaanza kupika mandazi and zikakuwa zinaenda. So saa zile hakuna customers, zinabaki ndio lunch, ndio breakfast, ndio lunch, ndio supper. Yeah, so by this time before nikurudisha hapo nyuma kidogo, wakati nilikuwa na msichana, nilikuwa sana my second born. Ilinibidi nitafute house girl. Nilikuwa naenda kazi. But it reached
so you had your first kid, the second kid, now the third kid.
No, first the
second.
And I had now to bring the house girl job when I was going to work. So I went to work and it reached a point hiyo kazi pia na ikaenda kasimama. So now already nilikuwa na msichana wa kazi. So there was no way ningemsimamisha kazi. We talked with my husband and then he said he will chip in for the girl. So this is now where the misunderstanding started. And wakati alisema ata provide nini atakuwa kilipa msichana, me I didn't have an issue. Juu yeye yako na si yako na pesa. So I didn't know again kama walikuwa wameongea na huyu msichana akiakuwa akifanyia mamake kazi
na
anafanyia kazi and kulikuwa na brother yake mwingine alikuwa huko juu pia naye alikuwa na extension yake pia naye atakuwa akifuliwa nguo na tengenezewe nyumba. So my husband akasema yeye ndiye ataongea na mamake na ataongea na the brother in law waongeze msichana wa kazi pesa juu hizo extra work. Mimi tuko tumeongea na msichana my kazi yangu but sasa hizi zingine extra
they were a bit tough to her.
So I came later yani to learn the story later. So wakati sasa msichana alifika mahali ana demand pesa, mimi namwambia nampush tu wait. For her she could not understand because now my husband used to come daily drunk and you know when someone gets drunk we all assume kuna pesa. So mimi nikienda kumuuliza pesa ananiambia amenunuliwa na marafiki na hana. So we tried ile kufichilia but now it reached a point msichana anataka kuenda kabisa. Sasa now the girl what she did, she decided since I can't pay her, I'll go and ask my mother-in-law and also the brother-in-law to pay her. So now that's where the conflict started. So dem alienda ka confront nani mother-in-law akamwambia mimi niliambiwa nifanyaje kazi na
I haven't been paid.
I haven't been paid na pia unafaa nilipe na ule mwingine anafaa nilipe. Mimi nilisikia nimeitwa kwa nyumba. Unajua nyumba yangu na yake si mbali. So I was called.
Nani kuja? How did she used to call you? If you can tell us.
I used to be called Mama Werimo. So nikaitwa Mama Werimo.
Come.
I came. So when I came, we sat down with me and her and the girl now and the brother. Now it was good. So wakanikalisha. Now the mother started talking. I listened to her.
What did she say?
No, this time she was just talking normal. Like she told me, can you take that picture on the wall? And I took the picture on the wall. When I took the picture on the wall, then she was like, how many people do you see on this picture?
This picture was of the family?
Now the family, now her family. Her and the husband and now my baby daddy has his siblings, all of them. And so she told me, can you see?
You're with the maid there?
Yeah, I'm with the maid and the brother-in-law and the mother. Now she was like, kwa hii picha, nani wako hapa? Nikamwambia ni nani wako hapa? Akaniambia hebu soma, hebu wahesabu, akawahesabu. Then she was like, hao ni wangapi? Akamjibu. Then akaniuliza, do you see any house girl there? Nikajua ni mimi ndio nikampoa. So me I raised wote bila house girl. Sikupatia mtu mzigo. So in short, sitaki mzigo hata mimi.
Wow, that's tough. So how did you feel at that moment?
What?
Na ni mtu mwenye mjai kuwa na conflict or anything?
Okay, we used to have the conflict, but now me
This
being
was
the good wife,
intense.
I would hide. I would never speak.
So when you were there, the mother-in-law has told you to count the people on that picture. How was your reaction? What got in your mind? How was it?
Okay, now by this time I had already studied her mood and I knew what was coming. So when she told me to take the picture from the wall and count how many people are there in the picture, I did. And she asked me how many are they, and I said how many are they. And at that moment now she told me like, do you see any house girl there? And I told her no. And so now she told me, since she never had any house girl raising all her kids, she doesn't expect me
to have one.
Also to have one. Yeah. And so I have to choose. I'll have to choose between
the husband
going and me raising my kids alone. Yes.
Wow, I think that's an amazing story. We will continue from there, right?
Okay.
Wow, your story is very interesting. I think we will continue with the part 2 because we want to know more what happened after the picture, what happened to you and your husband, your mom, your mother-in-law. I think it's an interesting one. Guys, watch out for part 2.